Picture as the air in that Senate hearing room crackled like a live wire about to snap, sweat beaded on foreheads under the harsh fluorescent lights, and the scent of polished wood and stale coffee hung heavy, mixing with the raw stench of political blood in the water. Senator Tommy Tuberville, that grizzled Alabama bulldog, with his trademark scowl and football coach swagger perched behind his massive mahogany desk, like a king on his throne. His drawl was primed, loaded with venom, ready to unleash what he figured would be a career-ending haymaker. Dead across from him sat Representative Jasmine Crockett from Texas. Cool as a desert night, hands neatly folded, her dark eyes locked on him like laser sights. In the blistering heat of those next 30 seconds, Tuberville didn't just get silenced, he got obliterated. The fallout, it shattered every smug assumption anyone ever had about real military expertise. In the cutthroat arena of Congress, buckle up, because this wasn't just a hearing. It was a full-throttle demolition derby of egos, legacies, and lies. Tuberville had just wrapped up his bombastic rant on the defense budget. Those juicy billions funneled into tanks, jets, and troop paychecks that could make or break empires. His voice boomed with that fake, gruff authority, the kind only a guy who spent decades yelling at 18-year-olds on a gridiron could muster. Now listen here. He growled, leaning in so close his jowls quivered a sly smirk, twisting his lips like he owned the damn room. I got some bone-deep concerns about these here defense spending proposals, and I'm flat-out wondering if some folks sitting in this very chamber truly grasp what our fighting men and women out there in the foxholes really need. His piercing gaze drilled straight into Crockett heavy, with that oily condescension that screams, "Who do you think you are, little lady?" The entire room froze. Aides' mid-note cameras whirring softly, the collective breath of Washington insiders sucked right out of their lungs. This was the spark that could ignite a powder keg. Representative Crockett, tuber, illegal, drawled on his tone, slathered in patronizing syrup, slow and deliberate, like he was schooling a kindergartner. With all due respect, and I mean all, what in the hell exactly qualifies you to pipe up on military matters? How, with your hands-on experience with our armed forces, you ever dodge a bullet, led a charge? Or is this just another day at the liberal think tank playground? The words landed like a sucker punch echoing off the vaulted ceilings. Whispers rippled to the gallery. Did he just go there? While camera phones stealthily popped up like prairie dogs, capturing every twitch, every beat of sweat, congressional staffers abandoned their doodles, eyes wide as saucers. This wasn't policy debate. This was prime-time theater, a gladiatorial smackdown, disguised as oversight. And Tuberville, he reveled in it, chest puffed, convinced head, just drop-kicked her into oblivion. But hold up before we plunge head first into volcanic eruption that followed. Do me a solid, smash that like button right now and subscribe if you're having these raw, unfiltered political cage matches are the lifeblood of democracy, the moments that peel back the velvet curtain on power's ugly underbelly. Trust me, you need to stick around for the full gut punch reveal. It's the kind of twist that'll have you yelling at your screen, fist pumping like you just witnessed Ollie Rope's Dope Frazier to get the full seismic impact. Though you've got to know the gladiators in the ring. Who are these two titans clashing swords over America's war chest? Why does this brutal face-off hit like a freight train loaded with C for let's rip the lid off? First off, meet Senator Tommy Tuberville. 69 years young, but looking every gruff inch of a weathered southern oak, hailing from the heart of Alabama's Crimson Tide. Country Tommy's resume screams old-school machismo. For 4 straight decades, he prowled the sidelines as a college football coach, barking orders at hulking linemen, turning raw recruits into gridiron gladiators at powerhouses like Auburn and Texas Tech. Wins piled up like touchdowns. National championships whispered in awe, and that glory catapulted him straight into the Senate. In 2020, he's surfing on a tsunami of conservative cash and cheers, branding himself the unyielding guardian of real American values, guns, God, guts, and gridiron grit. His fans, they devour his no-bullshit bravado, howling when he drops folksy analogies from his coaching glory days to strategize on everything from trade wars to terror threats, leaderships like calling a fourth. Downplay had thunder, you gotta have the stones to go for it. But dig deeper, and Tuberville playbook reveals a nastier pattern. A relentless habit of swiping at upstart politicians, especially the young guns of women, the people of color daring to invade his turf. He's done it on climate catastrophe, dismissing green newbies as tree-hugging dreamers, economic Armageddon. What does a city slicker know about farm folks' pain? And now the sacred cow of military might as base laps it up like sweet tea on a sweltering July day, crowning him the grizzled gatekeeper. Slapping down the unqualified hoards its red meat rhetoric at its finest. Or foulest, depending on your aisle, Tuber illegal, doesn't just question, he dismantles painting opponents as lightweight pretenders in a league of heavyweights. And on this fateful day with billions in defense dough on the chopping block, he smelled fresh meat in Crockett big mistake. Huge, now swivel your gaze to the unflappable force opposite him, Representative Jasmine Crockett 43 and fierce, as a Texas twister prepping the vibrant sprawl of Dallas's 30th district. She's no wide-eyed rookie Crockett stormed Congress in 2023 like a civil rights hurricane, a former public defender and state rep with razor-sharp legal mind honed in Bowie County's gritty courtrooms. Picture her poised, unyielding with a smile that could charm snakes or slice egos her constituents. Those hard-working military families, black entrepreneurs, immigrant dreamers in Dallas' melting pot. Hail her as their unbreakable shield. She's the one who never flinches in the fray, dismantling bogus bills with the precision of a surgeon wielding a scalpel, but Crockett's superpower, that meticulous prep, work the kind that turns ambushes into annihilation, as she's earned stripes on the House Armed Services Committee grilling generals on everything from drone strikes to vet suicides, always with a firebrand's passion for the troops. She fights for what elevates this showdown from spicy spat to seismic shift. It's the bigger, bloodier canvas of American power. Plays, this wasn't isolated beef. It was Exhibit A in the endless exhibit hall of older white dudes gatekeeping serious issues. Think national security as their exclusive boys' club where women of color like Crockett get eye-rolled, as interlopers' military policy that's the ultimate macho domain. Tanks, rumbling flags, waving heroes, bleeding, questioning her creds wasn't just a jab. It was a calculated gunshot to erode her clout on a bill teeming with billions for troop welfare, vet perks, cyber shields. Stuff that keeps America from crumbling under chaos. Tuber legal trap. He figured silence meant surrender. Crockett should have been laying bait, knowing the damning truth about true service would burst forth like a geyser. When it didn't just humble one senator. It rewired the wiring diagram of expertise in Congress's snake pit authority. It ain't about age or accents. It's blood, sweat, and stars on citations. A chamber thrummed with electric tension, a hive of hornets ready to. Swarm aides from both squads hunched forward, pens hovering like drawn daggers. C-SPAN, unblinking eyes swiveled to catch every angle. The flicker of doubt in the GOP interns, either subtle from a Dem staffer or social media wranglers, fingered their devices, thumbs itchy for the viral gold mine. Everyone's gut screamed this is a clip that'll loop forever. Tuber illegal tasting victories. Tang doubled down. He twisted toward the gallery, playing to the cheap seats like a revival preacher. Y'all see what him. Saying he boomed that Alabama twang thickening like molasses. This hay race, the problem we got decision makers calling shots for our brave boys and girls, I suppose, in uniform, and I'm not convinced they get the grit of military life, the mud, the fear, the unbreakable bond of brothers in arms, the condescension ooze thick and toxic slithering under collars, and raising hackles. Democratic committee vets squirmed in their seats, cheeks burning with secondhand shame. Republicans, they bobbed heads like dashboard dolls soaking in the spectacle. Classic Tuber, illegal credential flex opponent ash, and watch him squirm. Crockett stone statue. Expression of blank slate school by years of courtroom chess where patience is the deadliest weapon. Let the fool overextend an encounter with a kill shot. Tuber, illegal mistaking her zen for zilch piled on like a linebacker. Now I poured 40 years into coaching young bucks. He bragged, accent, amping up the bravado. I know discipline. Breaking him down, building him up. I know sacrifice. Those endless practices of losses that scar deeper than winds heal. I've forged thousands for life's brutal battles. That's leadership real as rain. But tell me, Representative Crockett, what battles you fought, what uniform you wore, and how many military mamas you counseled through the nightmare of waiting for that knock on the door. The barrage flew fast and furious, each query a barbed harpoon aimed at her supposed soft spots. Republicans smirked wider, savoring the script. Puff your chest, poke the bare bass in the back pedal. But wait. Something shifted. Crockett's face didn't crumple in panic or flare in fury. No, her eyes narrowed just a fraction. Not rage, but reckoning like a chess master spotting checkmate. 3 moves out, she had been waiting for this idiocy, this exact cocktail of arrogance and ignorance. Senator Tuber illegal, she finally intoned, voice smooth as polished steel, slicing to the hush the room magnetized. Spine straightening breath. Baited they brace the dodge, the deflection the meek. Well, actually, Tuber legal, preen smug. As a cat with cream, I appreciate you raising questions about military experience and qualifications. Crockett pressed on, unflinching, you're dead right. Grasping service and sacrifice is vital for anyone tampering with our force's fate. That's why I treat this duty like the sacred ground. It is. Tuber illegal, dipped his chin, gloating. Gotcha concession. Accepted then. Boom Crockett's hand darted to her leather folio, yanking out a thick wedge of papers that rustled like thunder. You probe my ties to military families. Perfect timing, Senator, 'cause I reckon it's high time this room gets schooled on what truly badges someone to bark on these battles. The vibe flipped like a light switch. Predatory to prey aides who'd geared for a flop, now laser focused on. That dossier, pulses hammering, GOP grins evaporating like mist in a microwave, swapped for furrowed brows and fidgety fingers. You see Senator Crockett rolled on her timbre, shifting from serene to seismic. I ponder when some blowhard would finally drag my family's service into spotlight. I don't flaunt it often, not cause it's hidden shame, because true valor don't need a megaphone that echoes eternal. But since you flung down the gauntlet on quals and combat savvy, she plunked the stack down with authoritative thud, owning the table like a general claiming turf tuber. Illegal swagger stuttered. A micro-flinch A. Swallow hard, her prosecutor poised, radiated evidence gleaming like a smoking gun. The gallery, when graveyard, quiet, not a cough, or creek phones pivoted en masse from tuber illegal mug to Crockett's arsenal. He cracked his lips to bulldoze in, but she was a freight train. Unstoppable, my granddad charged through hell in World War II. She launched voice, laced with granite pride. My pops bled 2 tours in Vietnam's jungle inferno. Brothers stormed Iraq's. Sans cousin patrolled Afghanistan's deadly peaks. Each bombshell landed heavier, the papers pulsing with Providence. Tuber, illegal cheeks bloomed crimson. Whispers erupted like fireworks. Phones whipped out, fingers flying. This is gold. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe.